You know those giant jet engines that look like harmless silver donuts? Yeah, stand too close, and they'll vacuum you off the planet faster than your boss can say, team building. Once, a ramp worker at El Paso International Airport got too near while the turbine was still spinning. One step, whoosh, gone like a receipt in a tornado. No explosion, no dramatic music, just a human vanishing act powered by physics and bad timing. And yet, somehow, we still climb onto these sky blenders with snacks and Sudoku, trusting they'll behave like obedient metal birds. But sometimes, those birds forget how to bird. Like this first crash. Turkish Airlines, Flight 981, 1974. Picture this. Cruising high above Paris, smooth skies, seatbelt signs off, and one very tipsy passenger wobbling down the aisle like he's on a personal catwalk. He's marinated in duty-free whiskey and desperately looking for the bathroom, except his blurred, heroic brain decides the cargo door is the toilet. Because sure, they both have handles, right? He grabbed it, twisted it, and with the misplaced confidence of a man who had no business touching anything, he opened it. Air screamed out in a single deafening roar. He vanished first, pulled into the sky in an instant, and then everything else followed. Seats shuddered, passengers and luggage shot backward, and the cabin floor split apart under the pressure. Control cables snapped, alarms wailed, and the once stable jet lurched into chaos as the roof tore open and the rushing wind swallowed the quiet. In seconds, a calm passenger cabin became a howling wind tunnel with no controls, plummeting straight toward the ground. And all of it started because one man really needed to pee. Flight 903, the day the sky made a panini. Everyone on Flight 903 was quietly pretending to be calm, which is the official sport of airplanes. A guy was scrolling memes about productivity while procrastinating. A woman was doing a crossword and confidently writing the wrong answers in pen. Then the plane sighed. Not a bang, just a long, hollow whoomp, like the universe exhaling through a straw. For one glorious half-second, everyone thought, oh, must be turbulence. It wasn't. The cabin pressure vanished, and the entire fuselage collapsed like a marshmallow under a brick. People, seats, peanuts, and dignity were instantly pressed into something that looked less like an airplane and more like a giant metal panini. The black box later recorded no screams, only one confused voice muttering, "Did the ceiling just high-five my lap?" Then, static. Tenerife Airport disaster, 1977. Picture this. Two massive airliners, each the size of an office building and fueled like a Molotov cocktail, are trying to share one fogged-out runway at Tenerife. It's like two elephants trying to sneak through the same doggy door. The KLM captain thinks he's cleared for takeoff. The Pan Am crew thinks, wow, this fog is thick enough to butter. So the KLM pilot floors it, accelerating toward destiny like a very punctual torpedo, while Pan Am is still chilling on the runway, like someone who hasn't noticed the train bearing down on their picnic. They collide in a blinding fireball that kills 583 people and instantly becomes the deadliest aviation accident in history. No lightning strike, no terrorists, just two giant airplanes playing chicken in the mist, and both losing spectacularly. Helios Airways, Flight 522, 2005. Imagine boarding a flight, buckling up, and then your brain slowly slipping into airplane mode. Literally. That's what happened here. Somewhere after takeoff, the cabin pressurization quietly failed. No alarms, no chaos, just everyone gradually passing out like they were at a very boring party with no oxygen. The pilots, the passengers, even the flight attendants, all unconscious, while the plane kept cruising like a soulless ghost across the Aegean Sea. It drifted for hours on autopilot, graceful and empty, while air traffic controllers screamed into the void. Finally, fuel ran out, and the jet nosed down, smashing into a rocky hillside in Greece, like a silent silver bullet meeting the end of the world. The Flaming Goose Incident, 1987. And now, the most ridiculous apocalypse ever launched by feathers. Somewhere over the North Atlantic, a passenger jet was cruising peacefully. Tray tables up, peanuts deployed, when a lone Canada Goose decided to challenge modern engineering. It struck the nose cone like a feathery cannonball, bounced into the left engine, and instantly became flaming goose plasma. The engine detonated so violently, it ripped itself off the wing, cartwheeling through the fuselage like a chainsaw full of regret. For a few horrifying seconds, the plane actually kept flying, with one wing coughing smoke and the other shedding panels like confetti, until physics cleared its throat and dragged the whole thing down. The jet disintegrated in midair, scattering luggage, seat cushions, and one very overcooked goose across the ocean like some surreal parade of disaster. American Airlines Flight 191, 1979. This one didn't even wait to get dramatic. It went from welcome aboard to good luck in about 31 seconds. Moments after takeoff from Chicago O'Hare International Airport, the left engine decided it had had enough of aviation and ripped itself off the wing. Not just a clean break, no, it tore through hydraulic lines on the way out, taking the plane's ability to control itself like a kid taking the batteries out of a TV remote. The jet pitched, rolled, and for a few seconds looked like it might fight its way back. But gravity had other plans. It flipped over like a pancake from hell, slammed into the ground, and erupted into a fireball that turned morning traffic on the highway into front-row witnesses. All 273 souls on board were gone before most passengers had even unfolded their tray tables. Air France Flight 447, 2009. This plane didn't burst into flames mid-air, it simply gave up, and somehow that made it even more terrifying. High above the Atlantic Ocean in the dead of night, a tiny airspeed sensor froze solid, confusing the autopilot and blinding the crew. Alarms screamed, red lights flashed, and in the rising panic, the pilots pulled the nose up too far. The massive jet wobbled, stalled, and began to fall. For over 3 minutes, it plummeted in silence, the cabin turning into a zero-gravity carousel. Trays drifting, luggage floating, passengers gasping as gravity quietly reclaimed them. Outside, only black sky and rushing wind, until the plane slammed directly into the open crater of an active volcano rising from the ocean. The impact detonated into a fireball, launching ash and molten rock into the air like a doomsday fireworks show. In the aftermath, the sky stayed perfectly calm, as if nothing had happened. Wreckage scattered across the ocean like confetti, the black box whispering its last strange words into static. For the passengers, their final thoughts hung frozen, ordinary, unfinished, swallowed whole by silence.